Hey babes, it's Sav and welcome back to SavsReality. Here lately I've been doing a few Instagram polls on my Instagram story to see what y'all wanted to see. And this week y'all decided that y'all wanted to see a Burnbook swatch and tutorial on this palette. And so if you're interested in seeing that, just go ahead and keep on watching and we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so I'm trying a little bit of a new setup. I have a mirror in front of me, which I usually don't have. Shout out to my sister-in-law for giving that to me for Christmas. But anyways, this is what the packaging looks like. It just has this cover, which I thought was kind of cute because it reminds me like of a book, because you know, like books have covers. But anyways, so this is what the packaging looks like, and then whenever you open it up, this is what all it comes with. So let's go ahead and do some swatches before we get started. Okay, so I know that it's kind of hard to see because of the angle, but here are the swatches. So far I'm fairly impressed. All I did for these was just rub my finger in the pan just a little bit and go straight to my arm. Nothing special. Okay, so right off the bat, some of the things I'm really loving is that one, the packaging is so cute. It is spot on from what the Burnbook looked like in the actual movie. And then when you open it up, you get this huge mirror. Like, that is huge. One thing that I'm not really sure how I feel about it yet is that you can like fold it behind, and I like that, but it stops because of this binding. Oh, I guess not. Okay, so if you get one of your own, you can kind of push it past, which is what I would do because it makes it easier to hold in hand while doing your makeup. Another thing that I love, my biggest pet peeve, is when shades either don't have names or like how Morphe does the sheet of the names. I don't like keeping the sheet in my palette. It just gets in the way when I'm trying to open it. I prefer when the names are on it, which is what it did. And also some of these shade names are really funny. It has So Fetch, Wednesday, She Doesn't Even Go Here, Mouse, Duh. Ew. It also has Cool Mom and Gruel. They're just all really funny. Like, Is Butter a Carb? The Plastics, You Can't Sit With Us. So those are what some of the shade names are. I did notice that on this blue color after swatching it, it got a little powdery, which is why I blew on it, which I know is like a no-no, but like what else was I going to use in this instance? So that's what I was doing just then, but it seems to have all worked out. So I'm really pleased with this palette so far, just looking at the colors and the packaging, as well as how they have the names on there. It even says Mean Girls. That way, I think they must have collaborated without getting like, you know, like sued or anything. But I really enjoy this so far. The swatches were amazing. They were pigmented, and I'm ready to see what it can do on my eyes. Also, I did keep my receipt. I got this from Ulta. It was the last one other than the one that was to be swatched. It came to a total of $59.54, and that was with $4.54 of Oklahoma taxes. So yeah, it's originally $55 before taxes or shipping. So $59.54, like I'm gonna be straight up. That's expensive to me for a palette. I had a gift card, so I only paid the additional $9.54, and so I was okay paying $9.54 for this. I don't think that I would have gone and bought it for myself if I hadn't have had a gift card or if I hadn't have had some coupon. Also, just so you know, this does not qualify for the $3.50 off of 15. I asked to be sure because Storybook Cosmetics is not something that Ulta usually carries, at least not at my location. And so I was kind of curious. She was like, I don't know, honestly, let me try it. And it would not let it apply. So this does not qualify for that. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to prime my eyes with this Dr. Brandt Luminizer Primer. This is a face primer that I received in BoxyCharm, and I don't usually like putting primer on my face, at least not something this thick, because it makes my skin feel really like thick. I guess that's weird. Makes my skin feel like really thick and chunky, and I don't like it, so I have been using it as an eyeshadow primer. And if you have this, I do recommend it for that. It's typically really thick, but if you're only using a little bit on your eyes, it goes on at just the right consistency in my opinion, and I really do enjoy that. Plus, you know, it goes a long way, and for me, I only paid the $21 that I got in BoxyCharm that month, and so I didn't really want to waste it because Dr. Brandt is a really good product. They're very expensive, and so I really didn't want to like waste it, and so I go ahead and I use it on my eyes just as a primer, and for me personally it has really worked. And then just to clarify, I did already do all of my face makeup aside from my lashes, my lips, and then my eyeshadow for this. I just didn't want to have to go through all of that process. So yeah, so going ahead and opening this book, let's see what we want to do. One thing I don't like is it doesn't have like a cream shade to put down as a base. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is maybe take this, I'm thinking I might mix the plastics and the You Can't Sit With Us and see how that does. And then if I don't like it, I will go ahead and wash it off. Also, I have all of my brushes like on the ground because I haven't gotten everything set up how I want it, because me and Cody are going to be moving soon, so just bear with me on that. So to do that, I am going to grab my e.l.f. Where is it? I'm going to grab my e.l.f. It just says professional eyeshadow brush, so nothing special. It's literally what I use just to put down a base coat. So I'm just going to dip a little into the plastics and a little into the You Can't Sit With Us. Tap it so you can see there's a little bit of fallout, but not a crazy amount. I'm going to put this on my eyes. It's coming off a little pinker than I'd like, which I mean is to be expected, but that's okay because I will cover that up with a transition shade. And I'm a little stuffy today, so just bear with me on that as well. Sorry. But I can cover this up with a transition shade. It's just really important to me that both of my eyes are on the same level, that they have a clean base to start on. And then that way, all the shadows apply the same. So yeah. So using this crown blending brush that I got from FabFitFun, I'll be going in with You Can't Sit With Us as a transition shade. Doing this helps add a little bit of color that makes it easier to go in with some darker or brighter colors so that they're not as harsh. Seeing how pigmented this was, I was really surprised. Typically, I wouldn't have gone in with a color this coral or pink, let alone this pigmented. Typically, I would have gone in with a cooler shade that wasn't quite as pigmented just to kind of set the tone for what I had in mind. But knowing that the colors I was going to use were quite bolder than usual, I was okay sticking with these colors. Plus, I really wanted to keep what I was using from this palette, just to keep everything all from one palette, to be completely honest review. Also, as you're doing this, just make sure that you're going from one side of your crease to the other, deepening it as much as you can. It's better to have too much than too little in this area, in my opinion, because you can always clean up later on. So now, as you can see, I'm going in with another crown brush from the same set, going into the shade She Doesn't Even Go Here. So what I'm doing is I'm packing this on to my outer crease to kind of define as well as add that pop of color. This is definitely the darkest color I will be using, and I'm so glad that I did. It is so, so beautiful. So now I'm just going on with the other eye, doing the exact same thing. You just want to pack that color on onto your outside corner. As you're doing that, it's most important to keep the outside corner as clean as possible, but with what I'm planning to do on the inside, it's okay if they aren't exactly identical there in the middle of your eyelid. It is important to try and keep them as similar as possible on the outside. We are able to clean that up later, but if we have way too much fallout and it's crazy, then it's going to be more difficulty than it's worth. So now that I've gotten this looking roughly how I'd like for it to, I'm going to go in with my Lancome La Base Base Pot. I actually got this for my wedding and have been loving it ever since. I'm also using a brush from the same brand that is specifically meant for this product. And I'm just going in, starting at my inner corner and going across through my crease, covering up some of the inner part of that dark maroon, roughly to about the middle part of my lid. I'm doing this because I'm about to put in a big pop of color that I'm super excited about and really ties the look together for me. But this does not have to be perfect. Do not fret. This does not have to be a perfect line. It's going to be covered up in the end. So now that I have the crease cut just enough for this look, I'm going to go in with the shade Mouse Duh, which is this very pigmented silver. And as you can see, I'm dabbing it on my eye using my finger. For me, that has the best color payoff. Sometimes I go in with a brush afterwards just to get in all the little nooks and crannies, but sometimes I don't have to do that. And in this case, I was lucky enough not to. So always go in with your finger first. Having had that base down, it made the color stick to it a lot better. Right now it looks harsh, but don't worry, we're gonna go ahead and fix that. Using an EcoTools blending brush, I'm gonna go back in with the shade She Doesn't Even Go here to help blend out that silver and make that line in between those two colors less harsh. I did notice here that the color payoff actually kind of hurt me a little bit. You'll notice that at one point there was a little too much color and it was a little too harsh, but don't worry, that's always easily fixable. Just using one of those two colors, I went back in and fixed it. It was a little frustrating, but I mean, how mad can you be over a good color payoff? So just putting in some finishing touches, I'm going to go in with the shade October 3rd just to deepen the outer corner just a little bit. This to me just adds a little bit of flair, deepens it a little bit more, and just adds some spunk to it. And I really did enjoy it. I actually got a lot of compliments this day. I had put this on and wore a t-shirt and leggings to work. And weirdly enough, they really did like this eyeshadow look. So I guess you could say all in all, I was pretty happy with it. Now you'll just see me going back into some of the colors I had used just to touch up, make it a little bit more prim and proper. Do whatever you think is best. Honestly, all in all, you're wearing makeup for yourself, not anybody else. So that's exactly what I'm doing right here, just making it look good for myself. Okay, so typically I would not have done my full face first. I would have done the eyeshadow first. And then I would have been able to clean up some of this fallout and how that's not perfect right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of my Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer and my MAC foundation brush. And I'm just going to touch that up real quick. Okay, so now that that's touched up, I'm going to go in with two of my favorite mascaras, with the Too Faced Better Than Sex and then with the Mary Kay Ultimate Mascara. I like to start with this one because it's very thin and it kind of lengthens my lashes, and then this one makes them just a little bit thicker. Okay, and then for the lip, I will be using this Too Faced Melted Matte in the shade, I believe it's, yes, Suck It. This is one of my favorites because I love doing these maroonish colors, and this is perfect for that. Okay, so now that I have everything put on that I'd like to have on for the day, I'm going to go in with my Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray. Just give that a good shake and spritz some on. I hate the smell of that if we're being honest. So yeah, all in all, I really like this makeup look. I definitely went with an easier one that I knew that I could accomplish having not tried this palette before, and I'm pretty pleased with it. This is definitely one of my go-to looks, and I like the pigmentation that it had to offer. Also, this lipstick, just shout out to this lipstick. It is perfect. I love it. I think it's $21, $22, $21-ish at Ulta, and it has lasted me forever. It is definitely one of my favorite lipsticks that I go to. I have it in a few other colors and they are my favorite. Totally 10 out of 10 recommend. So on this palette, I want to know what you thought. Did you like how it came out? Or do you think that you could find something just as good for a fraction of the price, basically? To be honest, I think that the price a lot just comes from that it has Mean Girls plastered all over it, but the pigmentation really was good. So I do recommend this palette if that is in your price range. For me, with the gift card, this was in my price range, but for me, without the gift card, it was not in my price range. So I do like this. There is a few other looks that I do want to try. I'm not really sure when I'm going to use that green or that blue, but they are so pretty and they swatched so well. And with how well these swatched and how well these went on, I can expect just the same. So okay, so all in all, I really like the palette, and I really want to hear your thoughts too. If you've had the palette, what are your favorite looks? Send me a picture, DM me something on Instagram. And don't forget to head on over to my Instagram and keep an eye out for those polls, because the only reason I'm uploading this one today is because y'all chose it. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to vote on what y'all want, and I'm so thankful that y'all came to watch. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and have a blessed week. Bye, babes.